Your number one job requirement is to please your boss. Let me repeat that. Your number one job requirement is clearly to please your boss. This and other key career tips and strategies is what I shared in one of my lessons on the Employment Readiness Training Program. And I want to take you on that journey. See you on the flip side. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about problem solving skills. I would even call it problem solving and critical thinking skills. They go hand in hand. Okay. Now, the purpose actually of you getting hired is only one. That purpose is you were hired to solve problems. Let me emphasize that again. The reason why you are hired, if you already are hired, or the reason why an employer is going to hire you is purely and simply so you coming to solve problems. There's no ifs, no buts, and I would encourage you to get under no illusions. That's the number one reason why you are hired. If you cannot solve problems, you're going to be ejected so quickly, like the old cassette player. Put a cassette in and then you press eject and it just pops, pop, and then you're out. If you can't solve problems, that is what is going to happen. But I trust that after going through this program, you will have a paradigm shift in mindset to know that this is a critical piece of skill set to have. Many people do not have it. And I will go through a little bit as to why people don't have this kind of problem solving and critical thinking skills, right? But the good news is that I think by the end of this lesson, you would not be a part of the statistic. You'll be the part of the people who are actually going to go places because they know how to solve problems. Basically, simple. Now, yes, the reason why you were hired was to solve problems. But your number one, I would say, the number one job requirement, which is typically unwritten. It's like an unwritten code. It's a secret code at the workplace. Your number one job requirement, trust me, is to please your boss. Many people get this thing wrong. See, they go into a workplace, and the moment they start settling down a little bit, they have all this funny feeling and funny thinking that they are better than their boss, right? So they start scheming, unfortunately. Scheming, coming up with this and that and that. Even sometimes it's so bad that sometimes they even go as far as, backbiting, lying on their bosses so that they will be able to rise above their boss. That is terrible. Right? And it never works. I've never seen anybody who's done that in my career who has succeeded. Okay, so let's settle this very quickly. Your number one job requirement is to please the person who hired you in the first place. Okay? Not only that, the reason, and I'm not saying please in the sense that, go to their house and go and wash their plates and wash their car and cook for them, or do anything that is illegal or I would say immoral or unethical. Don't do none of that, right? What I'm talking about is in direct reference to the workplace. Anything outside of that, I wouldn't endorse, okay? And frankly, if a boss wants to come to wash their plates and those kind of things, look at them with 6 eyes. You don't deserve to work for a boss like that, okay? But with that said, your job requirement is to reduce his or her work burden. That is your task. You are coming in to make his life easier. Please, the earlier you can get this, it's going to save you a ton of headaches, right? And then finally, you're going to make your boss, whether it's a he or a she, and apologies for the ladies if I've been using he. We tend to be a little bit biased, in favor of the masculine character. But I apologize upfront. Okay, but to make him or her look good to his superiors. Okay, so you coming because the reason is very simple. If I hired you and you came in to make my life easier, what's going to happen is that chances of me getting a promotion or rising very fast in the organization expedites. Guess what? You made my life easier. The moment I rise and I go to the next level, guess who I'm pulling along with? Right? I'm pulling my best guys, which is you. I'm pulling you along very quickly. So the fastest way to rise in an organization, right, is to help reduce the burden on your direct, what do you call it, the people that you directly report to. If you do that, because they know that this guy, he knows his stuff, he can do the job. He helps me. I can even go to bed and wake up and I don't have to stress. I don't have to worry. So I can trust on, if your name is John, I can trust on John. I can trust on Janet. Right? I can trust because Janet is very good. She's so helpful. She's so resourceful. And with that, you move along very quickly. And to me, that is how my career, when I was working for companies, that was one of the fastest ways I got to rising. Even in places where I would have been looked down upon as an African person or a black person, or even somebody with a different accent, different personality, different culture, it didn't matter. Why? Because I got to know very quickly in my career that if I please my boss, I will rise with my boss. I even had opportunities where sometimes my boss will leave to go to another company. It happened to me twice. He will leave and go to a bigger company, right? And guess what? 2 months down the road, he comes knocking on my door wanting to poach me out of my previous company. It's happened to me twice, right? I didn't take all those offers because of the circumstances I was in. But that is to show you that pleasing your boss is the number one and smartest strategy to get your career on a fast track. And let me throw one. It doesn't mean you have to be a sycophant. You just kiss people's feet and those kind of things. I wouldn't want to use some of these American terms, right? That you are kissing your way up. No, that's not it. I'm talking about pleasing your boss in the context of your work output. Okay, and I think we are straight on that. Okay, so with that said, I'd say the only reason why, and we've said it before, you were hired is to solve problems. Solve problems. Let's get this thing in our subconscious mind. You are employed to solve problems, right? A couple of years back, I had a few direct reports, okay, that were working for me. And I had this particular guy, young guy. It looks as if he had a knack for identifying problems. Okay. He would come in and you tell him, okay, go and do this job for me or perform this task for me. Trust me, within an hour he will come back. He will come and tell you 6 problems that he is going to encounter for attempting to do that job. 10 reasons why that job cannot be completed on time or cannot be completed at all. And he will come with facts that, oh, because this is not working, that is not working, that. So you show him one problem that he needs to work on, he brings 6 more. So it was getting under my skin. So one day I pulled him aside and said, look, any day you come with me with a problem, I want you to think of 3 possible solutions to that problem before you bring the problem to me. Okay? And that will work like magic. 3 possible solutions for one problem. What that did is it forced him to think, because he knew that if he didn't comply with that, he was on a chopping block, basically, because he wasn't doing the job. He didn't come in to solve problems. He just came in with a shovel to dig for problems. And problems, if you want to dig for them, you will find them all day, right? So I want you to have that same mindset. You're employed by a company. Don't go with your boss to your boss. I mean, don't add the burden to his to his plate. He already has a ton of problems that he needs to take care of. Yours is to take the problems off his plate. So if you are going to go with you found a problem in the workplace and say, boss, this thing has happened, or that is this problem with this account, blah blah blah, that's happening. But this is what I think can solve it. You know, I've made this phone call. I've spoken to this person. He said he'll be able to do X, Y, and Z to help. So although the problem is there, but I have, you know, 3 possible scenarios. If scenario A doesn't work, I think B will work. If B doesn't work, I think C will work. Your boss will just be, he will gloat over you, or she will gloat over you. It's amazing to have a direct report like that. And this is a funny what do you call it? A funny piece of imagery here. Most young people, their problem is you hire them in the workplace, and what they want to do is they want to follow a script, the script based off on their job description. So the moment you give them a task that deviates a little bit of their job description, I say, oh, wait a minute, sir, wait a minute. This is not my job. Or the worst one. I mean, the worst one that I've encountered is, this task is beneath me. Why is it? Oh, I'm a degree holder. I have my master's. Why am I doing data entry? You get a point. That is a wrong attitude to have. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is going to have to be your attitude if you are going to be at the competitive edge of looking for the best kind of job and rising very fast. As far as your boss is concerned, your attitude should be said, anything you want me to do is my job. Anything, especially being the early parts of your career. Anything you want me to do is my job. Anything I can do, frankly, anything you can do to help the company move forward is your job. Because why? If you help your boss move forward, guess what's happening? Your company is moving forward. Once your company is moving forward, they don't even have the appetite to let you go. And why? Why would they even let you go? They are best and prized assets. Why would they? They wouldn't do them. They'll be nuts to let you go if you have this kind of attitude. And frankly speaking, if you have this attitude, no matter who you are, your color, your whatever it is, you are going to excel. Okay, you are going to excel. So now let's look at some basic steps for solving problems. Okay, basic steps for solving problems. The first step is every problem in this world is solvable. Every problem at the workplace is solvable. So the first thing is don't panic. Whenever your task is given to you, the first thing you do is don't panic. Tell yourself every problem here is solvable. Okay? Even if you don't have the skill to do it, don't panic. It's solvable. The second step is be very creative. Use every tool or resource that you have at your disposal to attempt to take a crack at that problem. My very first full-time professional job was with a company called My Travel Group PLC. It was based in the northern part of Manchester, a place called Rochdale at that time. And it was a huge company. It had branches all over the world, everywhere. It's now called Thomas Cook, right? Thomas Cook Group. So for those of you who like soccer, Thomas Cook used to be the main sponsor for Manchester City for a while. So they had a strong brand. So this company had like almost 20,000 employees, right? So I had been looking for a job and finally I got this job. It was a temporary job, 8 weeks temporary engagement. And I was ecstatic to get in there. I got in there. At that time I was doing my chartered accountancy program in England. I had done ACC. I was doing. I'd finished my degree and I was did engineering. I would say building engineering, and degree level. And I wanted and I just wanted to go into finance and accounting. So for some crazy reason, so I went in there, and by the time I got a job, I was at ACCA level 3. Okay. I was just one exam sitting away from becoming a chartered accountant, but trust me, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know, I didn't know until I got a job. That's how funny it was. So when I got this job, I went to my travel at that time, and at the finance department. I realized that first thing, I was the only black guy they had hired in that department. It was about probably about a little over 100 people, right? A little over 100 people. And the department was treasury function, so I was doing kind of a treasury accounting kind of thing. That was the role. Now, I got in. By day 2, I got to know that I knew nothing. My mind was blank. The second day, my boss called me and said, look, we have this lady who produces this weekly report, and this report is very important. We can't miss it. This lady who happens to work on this report has to take some immediate family leave. It's critical. It's an emergency. She's going to be out for about 2 weeks, and I want you to produce this report and submit it in a week's time from today. I said, okay, sir, what is it? They showed me the report. I nearly flipped out. Why? Because this was heavy Excel report. Heavy financial module. At that time, I didn't know nothing. For those of you who are into accounting, finance, and data, if you are not in accounting, finance, and data, this is going to be a little bit of a jargon to you. Just bear with me. We'll pass this stage very quickly. So I saw that, wow, they were using, at that time I didn't even know, but I got to know they were using complex pivot tables, complex lookups and VLOOKUPs and if statements. It was crazy. I say, the moment I got to know the scope of the task, I say today is today. But I didn't show that emotion. I just told myself, I am so thankful to God for getting this job. I will do everything to keep this job. I know I'm the only one who knew how difficult it was for me to get my first professional job in England. I'm not going to make this opportunity slip by. So I said, okay, I don't know nothing. And the funny thing is, on the floor that I was working, I was the most highly qualified in terms of academics. Okay? My boss was ACC, no, he was SEMA level 2. Okay? My own boss, the one that I was reporting to, I was far advanced in my study than he was. The lady who was producing this report was SEMA level 1. But she was doing it with ease. And I was at level 3, my one exam away from becoming a chartered accountant. And here was I was just I was just a nobody, basically. So I took the task, went home that night. The moment I got home, I went on Amazon. At that time, it was amazon.co.uk because I was in UK. Ordered a book, a very thick book, right, on advanced Excel, with emphasis on pivot tables, right, and complex formulas. I got it. I did express delivery. I requested for express delivery. I got it back the next day. So by the time I came back from work, the next day, the book was at home. I opened that thing up. Man, it was like I was doing a final year paper. At that time we had our first child, and she was like, no, our second child. We were like 6 months old. I will just come home, shut the door, grab that book, go through it as if I was going to write the biggest examination of my life. I will sit from 6 p.m. to about 2 a.m. Then I will sleep and wake up at 6, get ready and go to the office. Right? I'll grab that book, I'll put it in my bag. In my lunch break, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going to the cafeteria. I'm not going nowhere. That 1 hour I sit and I'm consuming that material, writing notes. And the book there were work what do you call it? Work or tasks related to the book. So it was like a workbook attached to it. And I was going through that. In 4 days' time, I went through the entire 350-page book. Right? On the 5th day, I went to the office. It took me practically 2 hours to get the entire report done. I submitted that report on the early morning of the 6th that they gave me. My boss was shocked, and I did it way better than the lady had done it. If I had been scared and I said, whoa, I don't know this, sir, please, I don't know anything, I tell you, they would have thrown me out of my travel as quickly as I came. Because you see, if you're a black person, you are working in these kind of environments, you are an easy target. I mean, it's easy. You get a point. And there are a lot of maybe preconceived ideas about you, or black people are lazy, all those kind of things. It doesn't hold any truth, but people believe them. So I determined that I wasn't going to add to that statistic. I was going to defy every quiet or silent prejudice that is out. I was going to defy all of them, one after the other, right? And right when I did that and I progressed a little bit in the company, guess what? Not only I became the only black person working in the department. Now there were like 4, 5, or 6 guys that the company recruited in that same department, because I proved it that you can do it. Okay, so that's just an example of solving problem, critical thinking, being creative to solve it. Don't be what do you call it? Scared, or helpless. It doesn't help. Now, step 3 is, don't make it a habit of passing on problems to others. This is a key thing. This is a key thing. One of the things that I noticed quickly when I came back to Africa to work is this is a very common thing with young people in Africa. And the issue that I have observed is that I think it's cultural also. Culturally, most people are not given the freedom to make decisions early in life. Okay, so in your family, they treat you as a kid. By the time you realize you are 40 years, you are somebody's husband, you are somebody's father, and you've not learned even how to make decisions. So then your marriage begins to struggle. Then your relationship with bringing up children begins to, because society has not put pressure on you to solve problems in your teenage years, in your early 20s. Okay. Flip that script to somewhere else in Western countries. People at the age of 18, I mean, I didn't do that, but kids at the age of 17, 18, they're living alone. They move from by 18 going to live in their own home. Yes, I understand the economic dynamics, right? That yes, it's easier to get a job there, money is easier to come by. I understand all of that. But I'm just putting it in context that because of all those kind of things, it forces young people in developed, advanced countries to have a stab at problem solving early in their lives, compared to some of us who grew up in developing third world countries. Because of lack and everything, they think that, if you make a mistake, let's say, if you make a decision, you make a mistake, it's going to cost money and there's no money around. So everybody shies. They shield you from making critical problem-solving decisions. And we take it into the workplace. So by the time we go into the workplace, we are not in the habit of solving problems. Okay? So when an issue comes, the first thing that we do is we take it to a superior. We take it to a superior. And that is a wrong approach. Then this is the reason why I'm taking my time to go through it. Please don't make it a habit to just easily pass on challenges. Grab the challenge. Okay? Trust your gut. Take step 1. By the time you take step 1, you realize that, oh, the road to step 2 is now clear. By the time you get to step 2, step 3 will open up itself, and you will be amazed at the kind of things that you can do. Okay. Then the final step is, if after doing everything you can, you still cannot get to the bottom of the problem, yes, you can go to your boss. Your boss would appreciate that, because now you will go to him armed with relevant information about the problem, and it will make it easier. If he needs to solve it, it will make it very easy for him to solve it. Right? So, as let's say an example, your boss says, let's say, work on a report. Okay, and the report, the moment you log in, you realize that the software that you're using to design the report, whatever software it is that you're using to come up with a report, on your screen an error pops up that the report, the software has been corrupted. You know, what are you going to do? Are you just going to run back to your boss and say, oh, sir, the task that you gave me, the software is not working, or it's been corrupted. So hey, goodbye and good night. You know, I'll see you whenever the software decides to work. That is the wrong approach. So assuming, yes, it didn't work, but you picked the phone, you called your IT department, right? Let's say it's a Friday afternoon. Your IT department say, oh, we will fix it, but we noticed that the license on that software expired this morning, right? And the manager who is in charge of procurement for updating or upgrading or the software, he stepped out. It's 2 o'clock on Friday. He stepped out on a family emergency. He's not going to be in till Monday morning. Okay, then you say, okay, Monday, what time does he come in? Then you get to, oh, he comes in very early. He's normally in the office at 6:30. So, okay, all right. Then you finish that and you say, okay, for this task, because my boss wants, let me even go online to see if I can get a free version of it, a temporary free version of it, right? And then you go in and you log in and say, oh, the free version is actually not a free version, probably it's a light version of it, but it costs so and so amount, just XY amount, very small amount. And then with that information, you go back to your boss. Boss, the report that you asked me to work on, this is the challenge I had. The software appears to have been corrupted because the license has not been renewed. So I reached out to IT. They said the person involved is going to be in the office on Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. I even found an alternative. I went to the company's website. They have a light version of it. I think it will be able to do it, but they said it will cost $50. Say if you can do the $50, can pay the $50, I can get the report. I will sit and get the report done today. But if you can't do it, will it be okay if we wait on Monday morning so that the software is updated? Then I can work on the report. Look at the difference in mindset, right? So you have not been able to solve the problem, but you've come to the boss. But now you are armed with relevant information, right? And that is what it will be required of you.